So, I have a question for our health officials here in Ontario as I watch their briefings 2 or 3 times a week. And we constantly hear Delta variant taking over, Delta variant of concern, Delta variant. We can't open up yet. We have to be cautious. Doesn't matter. Not out of the woods yet. Delta. Look at Australia and look at the UK. Look what's happening there. Okay, let's look at what's happening there. So to me, there's two key factors when we're looking at COVID and whether or not we should have restrictions and less restrictions, etc., etc. That's hospitalizations and deaths, right? Remember, we have to protect the people. People are dying. We have to stop people from dying. We have to protect our healthcare system from being overrun. Those are the two main things. I don't care that somebody has COVID and has a cold for 2 days. If you have mild symptoms and have COVID, I don't care, right? That's not a reason to have the world shut down. World shut down because your healthcare system's being overrun and your death toll is rising and going out of control. Those are the reasons to shut down the economies and keep people locked up. So I looked at Australia. And Australia has basically, I think their vaccination rate now is, I think it's like 14% one dose and 7 to 8% fully vaccinated in all of Australia. And there's only 8 million people in Australia. So not even like Canada's a really small country population-wise. Australia is 25% of that. And they still are only at 6 or 7% fully vaccinated. So their vaccine rollout there is even worse than Canada's was. So congratulations to Australia. You hold the record there from us, because ours was pretty bad for a wealthy country, if you will. But cases are on the rise. Well, yeah, they have 32 to 42 cases now on average. But I looked at the death toll. Death toll hasn't moved. You would think if cases are rising that exponentially, the death toll should go up. And hospitalizations haven't moved neither. People are being rushed to hospital even more and more and more every day. But that's a very small sample size. Very small sample size, only 8 million people in the country. They locked down their country, there's no travel. So yeah, there's you can't even get into the country, let alone get out of it. So let's look at the UK. The UK, in the past 7 weeks, has gone from around 2,000 cases a day to 20,000 cases a day. 10 times more cases. And so that's why they were pushing back on their reopening plan, and that's what everyone's pointing at. Look at the cases of the Delta variant. Look at it run out of control in the UK. It's unbelievable. Warning here in Canada, it's becoming the dominant strain here in Canada. Look at the UK, look. So I looked at hospitalizations. Hasn't moved. It's still the same as it was 7 weeks ago. Death toll hasn't moved. Still the same as it was when the cases were at 2,000. So this just goes to show that a country that has a high vaccination rate is fighting off that Delta variant. It's not severe. You're not ending up in hospital. Your elderly are not dying in old age homes, no matter what the case counts become. In fact, 90% of all people who end up in hospital right now don't have a vaccine. They chose not to get the vaccine. They decided not to be in the vaccine. They don't believe in it. Whatever the reason, they couldn't do it medically. Who knows? 90% of people who end up in hospital are there. I think it was, I forget which state in the United States, just did a poll in the last 60 days in that state. The only people to pass away from COVID are people who haven't had the vaccine. That's not an anomaly. Like 60-40. You can say, oh, there's room for error there. 60% of vaccinated people, and then 40%, are in hospital. Yeah, but it's 90%. That's not a margin of error. That's not a calculation miss thing. That's just reality, whether we believe it or not. Whether you choose to believe in vaccines or not, it's just reality. 90% of people in hospital, 90% of the people dying haven't had a vaccine. Simple as that. It's not. It's a fact. It's not an argument. But as far as keeping the province in complete lockdown, still we're still, by the way, can't eat indoors in Ontario. Still, we can't go to a movie. We can't have more than 5 people in our house at one time. We can't. We can't have the Blue Jays playing in our home stand without fans. We can't do any of that. And they keep just saying the exact same thing. Delta variant, Delta variant, Delta variant. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the Delta variant. They now say it's become the dominant strain here in Canada. But our numbers are still doing this. In Ottawa today, we announced 0 cases of COVID in our entire city. 0 new cases in our hospitals. 0 cases. Nobody in ICU. Nobody even in a room. Well, if the Delta variant's, but it's okay. It's okay now. Because they found a new variant. So we're not going to hear about the Delta variant for very much longer. I predict in the next 2 weeks, you won't be hearing Delta, Delta, Delta. You're going to be hearing Lambda variant. That's a new one. That's another one that's coming out now. Lambda variant, everybody. It's spreading down in Peru, I think. Really fast and really quickly. Yeah, in the country that doesn't have vaccines. Yes, it's probably going to spread faster, right? Just makes sense. So, okay, that's going to be the next one. You mark my word. Lambda variant will soon be replacing Delta variant in every news broadcast, every medical report, every cabinet meeting, every time the premier or a state representative talks about it, it's going to start mentioning the Lambda variant. Even though when you look at it, cases may go up, but hospitalizations haven't moved and death tolls haven't moved. And in reality, isn't that really the only important thing?